You can build broke or you can build luxury. It's your option. But if you're dealing with broke people, you're not gonna make money because there's no money to make. And so the biggest problem most people have is that they wanna play it safe and they wanna go into the low-end market because they feel that if you have a compressed amount of money that you spend on a build, that you have it safer in your overall build. But the reality is, if you're taking money from broke people, they're broke. And if you're taking it from median people that are on compressed incomes, they don't have the expendable income to be able to make you tons of money. Now, the biggest reason that most people get into building and they get into the ground up game and they get into real estate is to go out and make money. So if you don't like talking about money, then shut off the video and go somewhere else, because we're gonna talk today about making money in the luxury home space. Now, when we talk about the luxury home space, there's like a finite area that you have to focus on. I'm not talking about these $6 million, $7 million, $10 million, $15 million homes. Yes, those are luxurious. Yes, those are nice, but that is not where safety lies and profits lie long-term in stability. You need to be able to go in and, yes, make large profits. And yes, you need to be able to go in and be in a position where you can have large profit, but it's not in the play safe market that you normally would think. It's not where you sit back and say, hey, I want to go in and build a $400,000 house to play it safe. Because there's only about a $30,000 to $50,000 profit in the median home market, it's a high risk game. And the banks even know that. So when you go in and you try to get a loan from a bank on a modest house, because there's not a lot of upside equity on that home, and there's only $30,000 to $50,000 in profitability, the bank sits back and goes, you need to ante up more cash because there's not enough upside equity, and the risk tolerability for us, the bank, is greater. And because the risk tolerability is greater, we need you to come to the table with more money out of your pocket to secure the gap of stability that we need as the bank to be able to come in and build that house. Now, on the contrary, if we go in and we build $1 million luxury home, which is like the starting point to the luxury home market, we can go in and there's a little bit more equity in that house of like $200,000, $300,000. Now, when we go in and we underwrite that house, which we will do here in a minute, you have to understand that it's that upside profitability that allows you the equity side to retain in that build, that allows you to go in with less money out of pockets. Now, will you still have some money out of pocket? Yes. There is no such thing as no money real estate. Like, you're gonna have to come out of pocket with something. Now, how you get that money is there's multitudes of ways. And for most people that have a small nest egg, it's a great way to invest capital to be able to position yourself where you can go out and make some money in real estate with a modest investment. Now, these set of plans are going to cost you some money. This is where you're going to get your best bandwidth for permits and lending right here. Now, let's talk about this real quick, because before we get into this, you have to understand why the market holds the way it does and why profitability sits the way it sits by understanding what I'm going to go over here today. Now, let's talk about the luxury home market. We're going to get out of the upper median market and let's talk about luxury homes. Let's talk about that $2 million to $4 million mark, okay? You will have to come in with about $150,000 to $200,000 out of pocket. Okay. Now, this is what the bank is going to secure even in the luxury home space, but your profitability is larger. Now, if you're doing like a $400,000 home, you're still going to have to be required to have between $50,000 and $80,000 out of your pocket. Now, there's a sweet spot between $700,000 and $1.5 million that about 80% of the time, if you understand the underwriting, the equity of that build actually secures the down payment of that house and that land for you, where you don't even have to be out of pocket on the land at all. The bank will actually buy the land for you. Now, once we get over that $1.5 million mark, one thing that the bank understands is that your bandwidth for buyers starts to go down. And if it becomes a higher increase of liability for the bank, it also becomes a higher increase of liability for you, because now you're going to have to come to the table to soften the overall liability for both you and the bank. Okay, so the luxury home market will require more money out of pocket than what I call the sweet spot. And the only reason I call it the sweet spot is there's more money in this larger stuff, but there's more risk in this larger stuff. So I call it the sweet spot because there's less money out of pocket between this $700,000 mark to this $1.5 million mark. Get it? That's good. Let's keep going. Okay, now when we go in and we look at this, On the luxury home market, I always tell people, try to stay at 20% of the overall resale price on the overall cost of your home. With a luxury home market, you can push 25% because you have more profitability, but that 5% variable does come out of your bottom line, period. And so put yourself in a position where you can go in and you can profit off these luxury homes at the largest time possible. Now, if you run on a 25% margin for your land, it's okay. You'll still make some great money, but try to push to the 20% mark. Now, let's do land, 20%, okay? Now, let's take theoretically that we're doing a $2.5 million build, okay? So the resale price is gonna equal $2.5 million, okay? If we take the land cost at 20%, you're gonna go into an area. Now, understand that we're going into an area based on comps. We have to have proof of concept. Never build a custom home, especially in the luxury market where there's not proof of concept. You don't wanna be the Lone Ranger with the biggest house on the street. In fact, if you're building a $2.5 million home, you need to be in a subdivision that has $3 million, $3.5 million, and even $4 million homes. Why? Because you never wanna be the biggest kid on the block. You always wanna be someplace just over the smallest and between the median. Somewhere between the median and the smallest is a great place to be because one, you're going to be profitable, and two, you already have proof of concept based on everything else that you're already doing. And so put yourself in a position to be able to go out and make money on your build where you have a safer threshold for less days on the market. The lower the amount of days on the market, the easier and better it is for you to be able to take advantage of profits with lower risk. Now, so we take 20% of $2.5 million. This is going to give us a segue that allows us to know where we need to be on the land cost once we have proof of concept and we have comps based on the resale value of $2.5 million. Now, our land price at 20%, $2,500,000 times 0.2 is going to be $500,000. Okay, so the land is $500K. This is where the bank starts to get scared. It's in the land. It's not in the build itself. It's not in the resale value of it. As long as you have comps that support this $2.5 million, the bank is going to have proof of concept. It's these tangible prints that are going to give the bank the bandwidth to be able to go in and give you lending on this actual asset. So understand that these prints are going to go in and they're going to concur, meaning they're going to be the same as what these comps support in that given area. When the comps support what you're going to build in that given area, they're going to take these comps and they're going to collateralize the physical land and build against your construction loan. Now, we're affirming that we're building what is selling for $2.5 million. And because we're doing that, we're not going to veer from that. We're going to go in and we're going to find an area first, the land comes second. Once we have proof of concept in an area, we know we can go in. Now, the land might be for sale for $600,000. That doesn't mean we're going to pay $600,000. All that means is that we have a $500,000 budget, okay? That's it. Get your $500,000 budget. This land has to be in an area that is supported by the comps. Those two things have to match. If the $500,000 lot doesn't concur with comps, it's too far out, it's too far away, you can't get comps, you're not going to get lending. So the $500,000 is going to be your max budget, okay? Now we know how to execute. We know what our land cost is. Now we go back in and we go, okay, what's our build cost? One thing is the National Association of Home Builders tells us that the average cost to build a single-family home in the United States is $141 per square foot. Now, there's obviously caveats to that. There's people building homes for $125 a square foot, $135 a square foot, and there's also people building homes that cost over $200 a square foot. You go to the more affluent areas, the costs and expenses for living in California, Washington State, New York City, Miami, Florida, some of the big states, those areas, the cost of living is greater. So because the cost of living is greater, wages are larger. Because wages are larger, the cost for labor is going to be at a premium for your cost to build. So those cities understand it's all percentage basis. Where it's more expensive to live, housing is also more expensive. So hence, where housing is more expensive, your profitability also goes up. So don't comment down below going, well, I live in California. I can't build a house for $200 a square foot in California. First of all, yes, you can. And two, yes, I understand California and Washington State and some of these other areas, you're going to go in, you're going to make larger profits because not only is it more expensive to build, not only is the land more expensive, but the resale value is also greater, and your price per square foot on your resale price is also substantially higher, meaning that your overall return on investment is also going to be greater as well. And so understand that it's all in percentage basis. Now, the other 85 to 90% of the United States, follow my model here. We go back in, our build cost is not going to be $141 a square foot. According to the National Association of Realtors, the luxury home build cost on average nationwide is between $185 and $200 a square foot. Let's go on the high end. Let's say that our build cost is $200 per square foot, okay? Now, we know what our price is. We're going to go look at our comps, okay? $200 per square foot. Now, we go into a luxury area. You never want to be in an area that homes are selling for under $300 a square foot. My encouragement to you is that you're in an area building luxury homes where they're selling for at least $400 a square foot. This is a luxury market. You can't put in the amenities and trim items that you need to unless you're pushing profits in excess of $400 a square foot. Now, conservatively speaking, $300 a square foot is going to be the minimum that I will allow you to go into in any given area, because it's going to compress your profitability way too much. So we have to look at comps and we say, okay, we have a $400 per square foot requirement in this area in order to safely build this house. Now, we go in, let's divide 400 square feet by $2.5 million. So we take 2,500,000 divided by 400. That means our house is 6,250 square feet, okay? So our house is 6,250 square feet, okay? That's our square footage. Now, we're going to take this $200 a square foot right here, and we're going to multiply that by 6,250. So we take $200 a square foot. Our build cost is going to be $1,250,000. That's an expensive build cost, guys. Expensive. This house could get built for a $185 a square foot, guaranteed. $1,250 a square foot. Now, I am doing this ultra conservative, ladies and gentlemen, ultra conservative, because one thing that I know is that if I leverage and press my business model against the reality, if we underpromise and we overdeliver as far as profitability, you go out and you profit. God bless your heart. I want to see you win. So we go out, we have $1,250,000. Now, we have a lot of expense in debt service here. Our debt service is going to be a minimum of $50,000, okay? Not a minimum. It's going to be about $50,000. I shouldn't say a minimum. It'll be about $50,000 in debt service, okay? Because this is what's called an escalating loan. In an escalating loan, they just don't dump the money for a $500,000 piece of land and a $1.25 million bill in your bank account. Now, where your money is going to have to bridge is right here at this point. Because the land is so expensive, banks hate vacant land because they're not income producing. And when the banks start seeing lot prices that are $500,000, it throws up a red flag instantaneously, especially in a market when interest rates are so high. So the bank sits back and they look at it from a risk tolerance standpoint, and they want to be able to collateralize an asset that they can get their money back on. And because this price of land is so expensive, they don't know that they'll ever be able to get that land price back, and they want to protect themselves to make sure that they have a return on investment and they get their money back. The second thing they're looking for is the overall underwriting comps. So when we go in, if we have $50,000 worth of debt service, we also are going to have our resale cost when we sell the home. Resale cost is going to be about 5.5%. Okay, you're going to negotiate your closing fees. Anytime you get into a $2.5 million home, don't you dare go into that home and pay them a full 6% plus a percentage in escrow fees at 7%. Negotiate it down to 5.5%. Now we got $2,500,000 times 0.05. That's going to be $137,000. Let's call it $138,000 closing cost. Okay. Now, our total cost to build with debt service and everything is going to be $137,500 plus $50,000 plus $1,250,000 plus $500K. $1,937,500. Okay. We go in and subtract that from $2.5 million. That's going to be a profitability of $562,000. So our net profit, not a bad day in the office for a luxury build. Okay, now, here's the thing. You got to look at the days on the market, ladies and gentlemen. I always preach and teach about upper median homes that are sitting between 750,000 to that $1.5 million mark. And the reason I teach that is because I tell you guys that the vast majority of homes in that market sector are sitting on the market nationwide for an average of 24 days on the market. And you can sell it quick. The biggest problem with this is you have a lot larger liability because your bank loan is going to be equivalent to about $1.75 million. Okay, so let's look at this here. Let's go one loan. They'll probably give you about 1.6 million is what they'll probably give you. Okay, you'll probably have to come to the table with about $150,000. And so when you do this on a debt service perspective, now the loan is fully paid out. You've already gotten all your money from the bank, because now this is where your liability comes from, is not during the build. Your liability on luxury builds comes on the back end. And so I need you guys to understand, it's the same thing that where my liability comes from on apartment complexes, guys. When I'm building multifamily, my liability is not on the front end. My liability is not during the construction. My liability is if that construction takes too long on the back end. And the reason why is because your loan graduates. And when your loan graduates and you have $1,600,000, and let's say that that loan at 8% interest rate times 0.08, that's $128,000 a year in interest. So if that house sits on the market for 368 days, you just spent $128,000 in debt service alone. You do that divided by 12, and that's an extra $10,666 in just debt service every single month at an 8% interest rate for a construction loan. So now you have a six-figure premium that you're servicing debt on. That's called trash can money, because that's money you'll never recuperate, you'll never get it back. It's gonna come straight out of your bottom line. And so what I always look at is days on the market to protect my interest and my profits. And so when you go into a luxury build, guys, you wanna look at days on market and price per square foot, okay? Number one, number two. These are the two biggest variables that you wanna look at when you're doing luxury builds. Luxury builds are profitable, but if you don't understand how to underwrite them and de-risk your build, they can be catastrophically detrimental to most people's financial well-being, because a lot of people don't have an extra $10,000 to $11,000 a month in liquidable capital to be able to get rid of that home. Now, if you go in and you do what's called interest reserve and you have a few months that you can buy, make sure you're paying attention to the days on the market. Don't go in and build what you want, build what the market needs and expects out of your luxury build. And ladies and gentlemen, if you look at those two variables and you build strategically to the needs of that market, you will continue to profit and continue compounding your financial success. For more content just like this in underwriting real estate in both a single family, multifamily, and commercial real estate game, click and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Learn, listen, and pay attention to how we underwrite resident and commercial real estate to de-risk your projects and always profit. Click and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Smash that thumbs up button, give us a little bit of love, and comment down below. We look forward to seeing you on the other side.